Jonathan Ambrecht.
Hi, welcome. All right. I think we probably should get started as we're about 5 minutes after the hour. This is James Sella. I'm the president of SiteQuest Technologies, and I've got Joe Sargent here. She is well, she's kind of our everything in some regards when it comes to these websites that we offer for Lincoln Advisors. So Julie and I will be going through, I think we coordinated. Do you want to give a little background about how we got here for this call, Julie?
Well, Beth called me a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, and asked if we kind of present to you what we do and what our process is within Lincoln and the compliance departments and getting websites set up for these financial planners. And so we put together just a PowerPoint of who we are, what we offer, our process, kind of how we work, and we'll go from there.
Thanks. So I've heard.
May I make a statement just now? The number you put up on the screen before had it reversed. It was 896, should be 869, but I think everybody's on now.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a real bad case of dyslexia at times.
We all do.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so that's going to be our agenda. And then as we go through, please feel free to ask questions. I'm not going to mute the lines for everybody automatically. But if you do hear a lot of background noise or anything like that, if you do want to mute your line, it does allow it through the system to mute yourself. And then feel free to pop in and ask questions as we go through. I'll also keep open the chat window if you want to send a chat question or looking for follow-up. I'll keep that open as well. If you want to send that to me, the presenter, which would be James Sella, and I'd be happy to answer questions as we have them. So, just want to give you a brief history of who we are. We originally started off as a company called Web Dynamics back
1998.
1998. I think that was even before the internet existed. And we, through a series of acquisitions and a few other things, we eventually morphed into a company called SiteQuest Technologies, which is who we are and who we've been for approximately 4 years now. And we host approximately 200 or over 250 websites for Lincoln planners. Many of which we'll tell you have been with us for many, many, many years, and actually have become good friends of ours as we've worked with them for a long period of time and serving their needs in this area. The product that they use, we call Web Dynamics, is the name of the platform that offers these websites. And so we kind of took the company name that used to be a company, and then now that's what we call the product is Web Dynamics. So as we refer to Web Dynamics, we're referring to the actual engine or CMS engine, delivery engine that provides these websites and puts them out on the web. Just as a background, we do a lot of different compliance applications. We've built a social media and website archiving application that monitors websites that are not plugged into a CMS engine like this. And we license that through Progent SunGuard. They sell that product on our behalf. We also have additional compliance software that we've done, including our newest one, just for your information, we use to scan the web looking for a rep's social media accounts or websites or outside business activities they've not reported. And so really we are at the heart of what we offer is a compliance-focused company. We also focus heavily on what we call leveraged content, meaning with our relationship with Lincoln, they've provided to us over the years content that they allow us to then leverage or make basically available to any and all of our Lincoln clients who can then take that content and massage it in their own way if needs be. one of the great advantages they have is they can jump into a website with Lincoln-specific content and get a running start from there.
Having said that, we do work with compliance all the time, and so if there's new content that needs to come out, if there's updated content, we work with them. As soon as they have that content to us, we go in and we make changes to what we call the boilerplate leverage content for Lincoln, so that those sites stay automatically compliant within the system.
We also have.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just a question to go along with that compliance bit, and of course that's what we're looking at. Every year about this time, and right now, all the planners are going through periods of updating and paying for their 2014 securities registrations, and I know that some will take some off and some will put some on. Do you notify the people at all who are using your system to make sure that their states they have on their websites are correct? Because the auditors check on that when they come through.
We don't have a way. Well, I guess we could send emails out to them and say, make sure you check your state licensing. We don't automatically do that, but that's something we could look at maybe doing.
We do that on our end. I just want to see if you did that at all, but that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can certainly take a look at it. We'd like to be to help make the process easier for you, and that's not a hard thing for us to do as far as either. And it's a great question that we've really never considered. Maybe there's a function in there that's every this time of year, November 1st or whatever. It takes that
we have
disclosure.
We have a leverage content section called State Securities Licenses, and it's something that we could send them an email built into our system that maybe says these are the states.
It's that time of year. Yeah.
Yeah. Please let us know if you need to make those changes.
So,
great. Thank you.
We'll take that down, Jess. Thank you. And then finally, as far as our product strengths go, and this is what we'll talk about heavily as we go through this, is we really feel like our service and what differentiates us from others out there in this area is that we offer the ability for custom branding on these websites. Even though we do operate, which pretty much everybody does, operates from a templated concept, we've been able to make it so that we have found some flexibilities within those templates and make it so that for those planners who are looking for something a little bit different, for those who are looking for a personal service relationship, and all of the planners that Julie works with know her well, she knows them well, knows their site, knows their product. There's no confusion about, well, what is this on your site or what is that? She knows their site very, very well. So from a personal service and custom site support, we really feel like that's what differentiates our Web Dynamics product from the other solutions that may feel a little bit more canned at times. So that being said, let's go ahead and skip ahead. So let me just tell you a little bit about who our customer profile is, just to give you an idea of the types of reps that we typically work with. Most of the time when we have a new or an advisor reach out to us about the possibility of setting up a site, it's usually from one or two venues. They've either been with a competitor and they're tired of it and they want to move to something new, where they want to have some uniqueness on their site but still have it at an affordable price, or they are new to Lincoln and now looking for options where they have been with maybe one of our competitors and now want to look at something that's a little bit more customized to their firm and their need. I would say most of our clients they want a website that really represents them as opposed to a website for a website's sake, which I would advise every advisor should have a website to make sure that they establish their legitimacy of their business and things of that nature. But for those who want to kind of go the next step, we have some additional options that make it easier to assist them with creating their additional pages. Oftentimes we will assist them with graphics that they want to do, sometimes for no charge, sometimes for a very minimal charge. You should know from our purposes, we haven't built our business to make money on nickel and diming our clients for little help, for little $100 bills here or $50 bills there to, create different things for them. That's not, in fact,
I hate that.
We hate doing that, yeah. And so oftentimes we will, quote unquote, give that stuff away because we want, customer satisfaction is really at the heart of our goal. And from that, because of that, the results that we find is that our customers are with us for a very long time. On average, they're with us for about 4.5 years. Many of those above the average have been with us for a long time. Julie, you can probably speak to some of those.
We have quite a few who've been with us since 2001 when we really brought a lot more of the sites on. So, and we do have those relationships with them to help even revisit their sites and rebrand their sites and change templates with them. So,
was there a question there? So Julie's going to go ahead and walk us through what this process is. And by the way, for all those on the line, we are recording this session. If you do get bounced or anything like that, we will have this. We'll email this session out to everybody, make sure that you have it. So, but we thought we'd just take a few minutes and have Julie kind of walk through what our process is when we onboard someone.
What we do is we start out with, and I think you're probably all familiar with the SiteQuest enrollment form that we have the planners fill out. It asks for their DSU. It asks for the domain they want. They fill out their address, some site title information. They fill out their state gate states, their security license states on there. And then when they get that form filled out, they send that to their local BOM, which I'm guessing we're talking to. Most of you are BOMs. Is that correct?
Julie, right now you're talking to the regional support lead team, and everyone on this call are people who can submit those requests to our compliance area.
Great.
We cover the states of North and South Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, and half of New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Great, great. So when that form gets sent to the local BOM, then they, we call it dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure everything's filled out correctly. And then it gets submitted to Hartford Compliance, which is either Patrick Burns, Liz Ostrowski, or Harvey Bergeron, and they assign a CRN to the website, and then they send the form back to us. And as soon as we get the form back from them, we'll contact the planner, work on getting the domain registered or transferred, and then we get the site set up. And as soon as we get the site set up, it's usually a 2 to 3 day process. Then we'll contact the planner and we'll spend 1 hour to 2 hours, sometimes more, on helping them to edit the site and brand the site. So usually, the whole process takes about a week for us to get this process done.
And then I also want you to notice that is Julie on here if you ever want to know what Julie looked like. I made her put that on here. So
sorry, you have to look at that.
Great picture, Julie.
Yeah. Well,
my husband's a photographer, so it's probably Photoshop.
She's never taken a bad picture. I'm just going to tell you that. So one thing I would say about this process is Julie typically can move as fast as the rep can move on this stuff. So there are times where it can take longer to get a site from the initial start of on process step number 1 to finally going live. But that's typically because sometimes the reps are just not quite as ready to give the information that she needs to get moving forward.
Right, and if these planners use our boilerplate content, it's easy to have a site up and going with just a few days. So it's just depending on how much branding they want to do on their site. Some sites, we just took a site live that took us literally 9 months to work on because they were a bank and they were working with Lincoln planners inside a bank, and so we had 2 different compliance departments. So, and it can be as quick as 2 to 3 days. So it really depends on the planner and what we're doing there. So this next slide talks about our templates. And we do brand for different groups. We have some resource group templates, some SageMark Private Wealth Service, SageMark Private Wealth Services group template, a retirement planning group template. We're just rolling out an agribusiness group template if there's any planners that want that. So that's not live yet, but we'll show you a sneak kind of preview of that. And so there is that we're working on, and then we can also co-brand the site with the Lincoln logo, the SageMark logo, or if they have their own Lincoln marketing names, we can add those to the site as well. And then we also partner with a company called Liberty Publishing. I'm not sure if you are familiar with them, but they work with Lincoln Compliance Departments. And if the planners want e-cards and newsletters, we partner with them, and they can contact Liberty Publishing directly and get that information to send out to their clients as well. We don't do that in-house, but we do partner, and we feel confident with our partnership with Liberty Publishing there.
Julie?
Yes.
Question, when they want to put in their Lincoln marketing name, do you request to see their CRN number? I'm not saying that they don't have them. I'm just guessing maybe some people might try to just put something on there without checking with us first.
Well, the good thing about that is that whenever we put a marketing name on there, oftentimes they'll send an email and say, here's my CRM for that, but it won't go on the site until it goes through Lincoln Hartford Compliance, and they always check to make sure. We don't ever put anything on there unless it's been approved.
Thanks.
So that's what we do. And here's just a quick screenshot. The website on the left is the Retirement Planning Group site, and that's available not just for a Retirement Planning Group member. Any Lincoln planner can use that template. In the middle template is the SageMark Private Wealth Services template, and the far right is the Resource Group template. And the Resource Group template, a lot of those planners do use their marketing name, and we've changed the logo in that for them, and we've even gone and changed menu colors and some of those things for planners as well. Then within all those templates, we can co-brand the site. So even on the SageMark Private Wealth Services template, we've gone in and we've changed what we call a header image, where they can put their logo in they can't do it, but we help them do that, put their logo in their header so that it does look like it's not Lincoln, but it's their own individual marketing name group. We also work with a lot of planner groups have graphic designers they use for brochures and just various marketing things, logos and things, and we'll work with those graphic designers and those marketing companies to co-brand the site as well, whether it's their logos, their colors, images, specific images, fonts, or whatever content they want. And when they put that there, as we're building the site, before we go live, we can have everything compliance approved, so as soon as they're ready and give us the go-ahead, everything's perfect and ready to go for them.
And I think, from a differentiator point of view, and I'm sorry to be so salesy sometimes, but I think this is one of the big things that separates us from other competitors out there is not only does the platform support us doing these changes, but Julie is very meticulous about making sure that when they do have a logo on there, or they do want a graphic or an image or things of that nature, that it fits well, that it looks nice, that the colors and things match. And it's because we don't, even if the rep says this is fine, I know sometimes Julie will obsess over, well, these colors aren't quite right and things of that nature, just to make sure that that we're proud of everything that we put out the door. So we're not really about, hey, hack it together, throw it out the door, and collect the money. It's really about making sure that everything that we put out there is something that we're proud of and represents us and the advisor well.
In fact, a lot of times in a couple previous versions, we've just let the planners go in and make changes to colors and text and fonts and sizes, and we've kind of taken that away from them because I take personally some pride in what the sites look like, and so I don't want them to co-brand it and it look like it was done by a kindergartner.
Well, what happens is they'll get in and change all their fonts to Comic Sans, and then they can make it look pretty dumb pretty quick. So, with all the experience that Julie has and Kara, it's almost as if they kind of have a little bit of a designer on staff when they have a site with us to help them along the way.
And so that's really where we try and focus is let's co-brand your site. Here's a few sites you can see that we have co-branded, whether it's IFP. I'm sure you're familiar with Integrated Financial Partners and what they do, and then we also have some other sites here. The one in the bottom right-hand corner is the new agribusiness site we're working on with Lincoln, and it's not rolled out yet, and we're still making a lot of tweaks to it, but that's our newest template. And then the one in the top middle, Debbie Charpentier, she worked with a designer there and getting her backgrounds, her own images throughout the site. The same with Peter Falk on the top right-hand corner.
And one thing that we'll do that typically is not done in this industry is if they have a designer or someone that they're kind of leaning on, like Debbie had in this case, we'll take the time to talk to them. We'll let them know what the options are, what's available to them. They can't just redraw a website with a completely different layout that we don't support. That's not something that we offer. We did a long time ago offer those sorts of things, but discovered that it was so cost prohibitive for our clients and not very profitable for us that we tend to keep people locked into some of the general layouts that we have for our websites.
In fact, the same layouts here, Debbie Charpentier and Peter Falk are on the same layout. And then the IFP in the top left-hand corner, the best times in the agribusiness are all the same layout. And so you can see they look totally different with colors and imagery and their logos and things. So that's kind of where we really like to focus on is let's use our template and let's brand it to who you are.
One thing I did want to point out to you that we do offer that you may not be aware of, and we have had, Julie, about how many spotlights? About 10 or so. About 8 to 10 months ago, we came out with a new product that is kind of a derivative or next generation on some what you might be familiar with from a business card site point of view, is what we call our Spotlight websites. And what this is it's a very compact website for those who are looking for something quick and easy to get online and get out on the web. They're designed really specifically for solo planners. You'll notice that on the design, we feature them right up front. We still offer and give them the availability to have their logo from a co-branding point of view, contact information at the top. We do have some leveraged content or pre-approved updated content that can hit their site on a regular basis. So we do, if they are approved, have some social media shares or share buttons available in this. But this site was really designed to, allow them to get online and basically provide us a picture, a saying, a bio, and an address, and that's about it. We're ready to go.
Right, and then they have something that validates who they are. It has the Lincoln disclosure information. It has their state licensing information on there as well. But it just lets them have a presence on the web for inexpensively to set up and to maintain if they don't want to worry about.
And we'll go through prices at the end, but just so you're aware, this one is a $99 setup, which is a third of the price of our other ones, and is only $25 a month, which is about half as much as the lowest price of our other products. So just so you're aware that that's an option available for them.
We would go through the same process here of getting them the approvals.
Exactly.
Okay.
By way of content, and we kind of touched on this previously, is that we do work with Lincoln and the marketing department to have up-to-date and current content, and then we go through and make sure all that content has the CRNs that are needed if they are needed on the site. And so we really try hard and work with Lincoln marketing to make sure that the planners have the updated bylined articles and those types of things. On our newest templates, we have what we call weekly news feeds that we get approved by compliance. They're provided to us from Liberty Publishing. So it's just generic market information that's the newest and up-to-date information. Planners don't have to have that. That automatically changes on the site for them. So every Tuesday or Wednesday when we get that news feed approved by compliance, it will automatically go on, and it's only available on our newest templates, and we let those planners know that as well.
Do you want to talk a little bit about conversions or upgrades? You want to talk about that process while you're on it?
And we probably failed to mention this in any of our slides. If planners would like to move from a current website that they're currently on, we have a charge of $100 or $150 to move them to one of our newer templates so that they can kind of be up to date with this, and oftentimes we'll waive that charge just depending on how well I like them. No, and I'm just kidding. It just depending on how much content there is to move and what type of work it is, whether they're really customizing things or what we're doing there. So we can move them over, switch templates for them fairly simply. And usually when we do that, we will have them fill out a new website enrollment form so that we can get an updated CRN. A few sites that we've been doing that for recently, the CRNs have dated back to 2001. And so from what I've been told in Hartford compliance is that doesn't matter that their CRN on the website is outdated because everything is constantly reviewed. But a lot of planners feel like they want a new CRN, and so we'll go through that process just to get them an up-to-date CRN for the website. So the rest of the information on this content slide is that we do have the bylined articles from Lincoln. June Reinhardt keeps me up to date with those. We receive new articles from Liberty Publishing 4 or 5 times a year to update those and remove old articles. The Lincoln, again, boilerplate content gets reviewed and updated. And then in our CMS system, the planners can add their own content, and they can add, if they have articles or information that they want to add, they can do that. We also have stock photos that we allow the planners to go in and select, and then we will embed those on their site, whether they rotate through all of the images or if they want images on a certain page, they select the photos from ThinkStock, and then we download them for them and add them on the site. And then we also have a where they can put their videos online, and we don't charge to do that. We have a company who hosts the videos for us, which is what compliance asks us to do so that videos don't get changed, that we have control of that. So if a planner changes a video, it can't automatically change on the site without it going through compliance, and that we offer is free for the planners. Any questions?
Julie, this is Kathy Waters. When a planner is adding their own content once the initial website has been established, is the compliance handled on the back end through compliance management tools? Are they still going to need to send those things through us to be approved? Right.
No, anything that goes on the website, and this is kind of the beauty of our CMS system, is that whenever they go in to make a change, it automatically, when they click submit, it automatically goes to Lincoln Compliance, Hartford Compliance for review, whether it's Patrick, Harvey, or Liz, and nothing goes live on the site until it's been approved. When they, Hartford Compliance approves it, they send them an email that says this has been approved for use on their site, and it automatically happens. If they disapprove content, then they send them the same email saying this has been disapproved for use, and you need to make these changes. A lot of times, Liz and Harvey and Patrick, they hate to disapprove content, so they'll call me and call the planner, and we'll work with them just making changes to that so that it can get approved quickly, because they would just assume approved content is have to disapprove it and go back in and everything else. So it's really a nice system where the planners can go in. It's quite simple to go in and edit the content They can upload documents. They can create their own pages, their own menus.
One thing I would say, and we don't necessarily have to go through all these features on here, but we've made it possible for those who want to and have the technical ability to manage their site and add paragraphs and changes and things like that. We have our systems able to support them. We've also understood that some of our planners are just a little dangerous when it comes to technology, and so we are here, Julie is here, to help them if they need those changes. And so I'd say for some of our planners, they're in there making their paragraphs or editing their paragraphs or adding an image, and, through training they've received through Julie, which she's happy to do. And others, Julie's probably learned, hey, just send that to me and I'll take care of it for you. And that's just part of the service that we offer with this Web Dynamics product. But you should know that really everything that Julie does to kind of build and update and set up their site are the exact same tools that, for the most part, that are available to a planner to be able to modify or use to create their site. So we just kind of we kind of tailor our approach according to who we're dealing with. So.
This is Cindy and Charlotte. Well, I can attest to the fact because about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we rebranded Chuck DeCraft and his whole website, and Julie worked with me hand in hand on getting his whole website revamped. Very easy process. She's very accessible. I mean, it was, a very learning experience for me, but very beneficial. So, yeah. She makes it easy.
I'll pay you later.
Okay.
I won't tell you all the times that she went home crying when she was working on that website.
Oh, come on now.
I'm teasing.
It wasn't you, I promise. So when our planners log in, we have what's called a dashboard so that they can just see if there's anything pending review, if there's anything been rejected, disapproved. It tells them when their billing is, and we bill Lincoln directly for the site, so they don't need to worry about that. It also shows when their domain expires and that type of information. Our system also, if something needs to be reapproved, it automatically will send content to compliance for, we call it a resubmission. So a planner doesn't have to go in and say, oh, this piece of content is expiring. They don't want to have to worry about it, so our system will automatically submit that. So sometimes you might get a call from a planner saying, I didn't submit anything to the website, but we tell them that it automatically will be resubmitted, and normally it does get reapproved quickly. So, and compliance has that process down as well. This is just a quick screen of when they're adding their own content. They can add their own. They don't have to know HTML. There's what we call a WYSIWYG editor where they can go in and put bullets or text or pictures or images, change fonts, that type of information. So that's just part of what the planners can use in their system. So that's just kind of a screenshot so you know what they see. Also, with the menus, the same thing. They can create their own menus, and we just have what we call a drag and drop, so they can reorder their menus just quite simply by just rearranging. There's a little bar icon, and they can just totally rearrange their menus or edit those as well.
And we're kind of at the end, but we wanted to make sure that you understood kind of what our pricing was as far as products go, and so we put this slide together for you. As I mentioned earlier, our Spotlight websites are probably the most economical that we have available at $99 setup and the $25 monthly charge hosting fee. As far as the other products, our light sites, our standard sites, and our office sites, I'll let Julie talk about those because in some regards they're very similar as far as what they offer technology-wise. There are a few differences that we make available, but oftentimes, or I shouldn't say oftentimes, basically the differences in charges amongst these three really are, basically how many planners are being supported on this. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
Well, and I think it's important that the planners know the support stays the same. It doesn't matter which site they use. So if they are paying $25 a month, we're still here to answer calls. Hopefully, you know, with 4 pages, it doesn't take a lot of support calls. But with the light site and standard site and office site, we're really here just to help those. But the reason the price is different for the monthly hosting is because the amount of traffic that's driven to the sites from 1 to 3 planners versus 4 to 10 or 11 plus for the office sites. And so that's how we really try and differentiate between the site costs. But the page, they can have pretty much unlimited pages on the light, standard, and office site.
We do, I think on the standard sites, we start to offer stock data or quotes. I think we have a few other bells and whistles. But for the most part, it's defined by the number of planners that are supported on the site.
Just so you know, my eagle eyes look under office. You've duplicated custom branding twice, so just want you to know.
Well, because we extra custom brand those.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks for catching that. I appreciate it. So just in summary, we appreciate everybody's time here, and we can open it up to additional questions as we go through this. Right at the top of this, as far as live and personal customer service, I think is the forefront of what we offer. And really, I think even for, I'll tell you, we had a planner recently move to a competitor recently because they wanted to go after perhaps a bell or a whistle that we didn't offer. And within a month or two, I think Julie got a phone call or an email letting us know that it's a very different experience that they don't really like. So we, just so you're aware, from a feature point of view, we do offer a lot of the same features, but we are not a content company. We do work with Liberty Publishing, but we are not producing videos or things of that nature that we would leverage out to all of our customers like a competitor might. But if they have custom videos they want to use, which we do have beyond a handful that use video with us, we can support that at no additional charge. And then, Julie, I was also going to mention, if they have needs of wanting to go into things like newsletters or e-cards or things of that nature, we do have, we can push them towards, Liberty Publishing has products that support that if they want to start getting into that. But, that's not, as far as like the direction of where this product is and where it's going, we really try to focus in on offering a unique solution for their websites and not necessarily being a one-stop shop
for marketing.
So that's just not who we are, and that's not. There's other options out there if they're looking for the one-stop shop, but we're looking to be a little bit more custom as far as what we offer to them. So
can I ask a question along those lines?
Please.
Let's just say the best way for a planner or a planning group to proceed would be to call you first and let you know what they're looking for, and then you can determine if you have the right thing for them.
Exactly.
Rather than just going through getting a CRN approval and finding out that you really can't do what they need.
Exactly, and we would love to do that.
And we do, oftentimes Julie does field calls from planners, not only from Lincoln but from other firms, where they're kind of shopping us, if you will, seeing what we can offer. And I want you to know we're very frank with them as far as what we do and what we don't offer, because we want to have them feel like they have a good fit with us, and we want to have a good fit with them. We have no intention of trying to bring them on with the idea that newsletters are coming out soon, or e-cards, or other sorts of things that really just are not in our wheelhouse or in our plans.
And probably something to note as well, we don't require a contract. We are month to month, so you pay your initial setup fee. As soon as your site goes live within the next month, then we start billing, and they don't have to stay with us for a year, or we just don't feel like we want to hold them hostage if they're not happy. But generally, I don't think we've had anyone leave for that reason. So I think we've been pretty good at keeping the planners happy and letting them have that presence on the web.
A lot of times a planner will come to one of our group first to find out how they go about it. And if we have numbers, which number would you like us to give them for you?
You know what? Can I forward? Is that Bud?
Yes.
Can I forward you a sheet with that information on?
Absolutely.
What we'll do is we're going to give you, after this call, we're going to give you a one-pager that also includes some of this information as well, so that you'll have that information that you can make available to the planners that come to you for those questions.
With my phone number, and I'll give you my cell phone as well as my office line, and we'll just kind of give that information so that you can feel free to pass that out, as well as the website enrollment form.
Well, thank you.
Great. And other questions? Okay.
Well, thank you for your time, and we appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing from some of your planners.
Thank you
Have
so
a great
much.
afternoon.
And don't
Thank you
hesitate
very
to
much.
contact us if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, team, we're going through the other line.
Was there a question?